Hi there, and welcome to Quick Tips for Teaching. I'm your host, Jenna Camp, and today I'm talking about the instructional practice of project-based learning. I first started really using project-based learning as a consistent instructional practice as one of my go-tos way back at the turn of the century when I helped open a project-based school. We did interdisciplinary semester-long projects, and the student engagement, the student learning, and the fun of teaching were all so elevated because of project-based learning. I really want to begin talking about just how awesome project-based learning is. PBL is an instructional practice that typically involves a collaborative team of scholars working on a project over an extended period of time to produce or to develop a product that has real-world implications and/or real-world application. Projects typically begin with inquiry. A problem, a challenge, or a need is identified, and scholars begin studying that. There are, of course, established learning objectives and criteria. These can be Common Core based and can be focused on the school's student learning outcomes. They can be focused on content specific criteria, and they should be real world as well as academic. That real world learning is incredibly important for making project-based learning relevant and meaningful. And yes, it should take place over an extended period of time. It can be a couple of months, it can be a semester, it can be a year-long project. And another incredibly important component of project-based learning is that there is a public presentation at the end, a public product, whether it is a website that gets published or a report that gets published or a play that gets put on, or we've done fashion shows, there have been art shows, all different kinds of things you can do with projects. But the idea is that there is a publication of the scholar's work because that's what helps make it meaningful. There has been a lot of research about project-based learning. Quote, from advanced placement high schoolers in Seattle and Des Moines to sixth graders in California and second and third graders in Michigan, all four studies, these are four recent studies that have been done, all come to the same conclusion that teachers who use PBL get better results. Now, this is from definelearning.com, where they were doing an analysis of some recent research on PBL. And granted, definelearning.com is a project-based learning company, but don't write them off just because they're a for-profit company. There are lots of good ideas, lots of good resources out there. They are one of them. PBLworks.com is another that is really useful. What I love about project-based learning is that it develops all four C's: collaboration, communication, creative thinking, and critical thinking. The high engagement, the real world learning, the interest that scholars have, and the way that it can be tailored for them to create learning that they want to do. This is what makes PBL so effective. For more quick tips, check out jennacamp.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Jenna Camp Educational. My Twitter account is at Educational Camp. And don't forget to check out my podcast, Think or Swim, in which I interview other teachers, educators about the critical thinking that they're having their scholars do in their classrooms across the country. Thanks, and have a great day.